Today, I'll be talking about the law of attraction for beginners and how it truly works. And I was profound by the observation that I had through a couple of years ago and until now that there's an enormous problem that we have when we go into this stuff. And if you're a beginner, I thank you for listening and tuning in. Whoever you are, you can always have a better life, right? We always want a better life. Some people are here to search for an answer. Why are they here? Um, what is the meaning of life? Why do we live? And then we come into here when we're seeking the law of attraction, right? It's is this you question sometime, is this a mystical magical miracle potion, or like how does it really work? Does it when you have an idea, does it reappear the way you want it to, or what 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 is it? Well, I invite you today that be prepared to, as Bob Proctor say, throw away your cherished belief and the myth that we have. Whether you're an advocate for the law of attraction, whether you've been studying it for years, whether you know it for years and decades, I believe cold-heartedly that anybody who are wanting more in their life, that the desire something of themselves to pull the magical forces within us, then we have to be able to see something different between the nothing, the unmanifest to the manifest, and to something, right? But as I journey along my journey of understanding this magical, people think it's a woo stuff. That's fine. But is it really woo woo, or is it something else that we haven't tested yet? Is it? Some say it's somehow they equate it with the quantum physics world, where it's the measure of the small thing, the small subparticle, and it's how everything's connected. And also, the law of attraction is just the basic principle of the Hermetic principle, which is which is profoundly influenced by the book, the Kabbalah, and it's also in the ML tab. We have seen the movie The Secret, and I have done talk about the Hermetic principles and the seven Hermetic principle. The law of mentalism, the law of vibration, stuff like that. But what does it really mean to apply this into your life? Do you have to think about it all the time? Is this something you have to switch on and off, or is it what is it? A lot of people have a lot of uh, misconception about this law of attraction, right? And people wish and hope for things to happen, and they sit and I come to realize. So please have an open mind. So right now, we can either become an abundance abundance mindset, or a scarcity mindset, or mentality, if you will, abundance mentality, or vice versa, right? And I tend to notice people who are close-minded, close off from the world, close off they have a scarcity mentality. If you notice that, even in toward the law of attraction community, right? But if you notice the one that who have an abundance mindset, they see ideas to be cherished, sure, but they know that in order to turn that idea into fruition, then they must turn that into physical. How can we turn that idea into physical form? Sometimes we make it too complicated, right? And how can we develop the inner? We have the tools within us to guide where we want to go, right? That's what we say, right? The myth of it all is the answer is within. It's not within you. It is within you, according to the natures and the spiritual realm and within yourself uh, um, and harnessing the energy within you, right? It's all about energy work, right? That's why they have Reiki healing. They have Qigong. It's basically moving your energy, shifting your energy, right? But I feel like people are forcing this energy, right? It's like when they focus and I used to do so. Basically, I did everything what the secret told us to do, like vision board. I remember I had vision board. I cut out like pictures of what I want, and what happens? I got frustrated because I keep focusing it, and I didn't. I felt like I failed, right? And it didn't happen the way I wanted to. But every time I write something down, it's as if it happens for me. But I did a couple of things. I did visualization. I did it's like mental picture and then seep into my subconscious and build that emotion, charge up my emotion, and I took the action. But also because I wanted to cut the learning curve that most people have, right? People come here and they don't want to deal with the world that is without. They want to deal with the world within. And naturally, I'm introverted, right? I'm cold-heartedly introverted. I like to be within, right? Introspection. I like to. Um, Now, people who are into law of attraction, if they're extrovert, that's okay, but they need to learn how to be within themselves. Because people who are extroverted, they sometimes, are scared to be alone, right? But it's okay to be alone, right? But and also introverts also have to do with they also have to define the understanding of how to communicate with what they want and how to do it. And second, I mean, there's always this thing that we come into. We It's like how like I know people get offended when Wikipedia said law of attraction is a religion. I'm getting to this point, to this close, and say it's almost like a religion because people come here and they close off like really good ideas. They only know about the spiritual world. They only know about the idea that the world influence our thoughts influence the world. Our thoughts influence our body, right? The environment can change our DNA, right? And I read, of course I read the Science of Getting Rich, and I read tons of book on the law of attraction. Robert Courier, the of course you already know the Hermetic Principles, the Kabbalion. I read Think and Grow Rich. I read anything you can think of. I listened to audio program, The Magic of Believing. Um, uh, and I listen to Ernest Holm. I listen to every type of thing in the whatever, and it's all the same, right? Where we hear the whole you got to be clear of what you want. You have to write it in the present tense. You got to be detailed, or some write it short so you can put it into actions. Or you hear all this way of doing or manifestation of meditating, but I feel like you should do whatever works for you, right? Right. Whatever tend to be your thing, you should do that, right? Whatever that is, writing go down vision board or do that. But remember, things always does not happen the way you want it to. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. You have to learn why it doesn't because you can learn something. And a lot of people, the when I say people treat this law of attraction as a religion, is because I feel like they're regurgitating what they already know, and then they 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 don't want to learn anything new. They just want to uh use their thoughts and not taking the thoughts turning into physical form. All the great people in every uh um in the world take on the initial action on that idea. Meaning that if you see Bill Gates, if you see Steve Jobs, did they wait for things to happen? I don't think so. I mean, But the most successful people have the most hardship, and a lot of people when they come to this, they they have not realized that you have to be really a personal development junkie, meaning that it's tons of hours and hours of work within, right? There's so many things um, that you need to heal, that you need to get rid of. You still have information, like it's like law of attraction. Even if they know it, they still have like information that's holding them back. And the like, for instance, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, and do your own business, at least learn, like if you're perfected your craft, right, whatever that is in any subject, at least learn how to market your products and service, or promote your products and service, and promote yourself. I mean, because there's always the thing that I dislike is we take these things to chance. Yes, we should be patient about the thing that we get, but it's as if we ask for the thing, but we don't hardly work. I value putting the work, right? I value, right. If I let things easily come to me, then I wouldn't value it. I would just uh, put it aside, right? We human, when we put in the work, we cherish more because we put the time and the effort and the energy into it, right? That's why I come to realize anything that I want in life, anything that I want to happen, I have to uh, believe in that idea. It's all basically believing in that idea, and pursuing that idea until I manifest it into the physical realm. Why? Because I used to do a whole lot of things, and I used to make it complicated, and it used to work and not work. It's all about sticking to your goals, right? It's about your goal can always change, right? Direction. You can always change. And the longer that you live on this planet, the longer that you have dealt with pain, and the longer that pain, I feel like when I remember I come into this, I have lots of pain in my life. And I was looking for a way to escape life a little bit. I was learning, and I felt good. And I remember I told my mom that because I start learning about law of attraction, and I start talking about, hey mom, this wall is God. This wall is God is everywhere within us, and you know I'm talking about the energy wave that it's everywhere, right? That people use technology on wave, right? And there's a degree of a vibration. There's high and low. Red is the lowest, violet is the highest, and they have the um ultraviolet, light is the highest, right? We know this, and whatever resonate with each other, you have the tuning fork, right? It will vibrate, and if you vibrate the tuning fork, and the tuning fork will vibrate with the system. But when it comes to, it's the same thing as us. It's not about more like focusing it, because we can focus, right? But it's about more like you turning that focus into a habit. Because I know that people don't like to hear, like, I do agree with, because it's been played out so many times, whatever you focus expand in your life. But it's more like whatever you ingrain, meaning when you take that focus, you take that idea, you ingrain it into your subconscious. What happens is your soul embodies, your whole aura changes, right? And it influences the environment around you. But so, and you will hear many different versions of this, but I learned that most people still in the law of attraction don't like to read. They rather use their imagination, and people, I was talking to the property manager, and he's my mentor and friend, and we were talking about it. I do agree with him that I disagree with a lot of things that the secret and a lot of law of attraction people say, because it is in it is it's I disagree because they I tell people this. I don't do what feel good. It's scary sometimes. Like you have to face a tremendous fear that is within you. A lot of adults have fear of success, failure, ostracized, everything that you could think of about fear. And that's why some people procrastinate, maybe out of loneliness or something like that. But I ponder sometimes, and I wonder sometimes if this information does help to where, why is it the average person who go into this doesn't uh win in life, or how come, why doesn't they achieve something that they want? Well, I can tell you a couple of reasons. It's by the information that they have and have held to believe, and that is the education that they have or they have not, right? Meaning that if they only study the law of attraction, if only they study the art, they may be good at art, they may be good at spiritual, they may be good at something, whatever subject that you are good at. If you have not acquired other skills, then you cannot move ahead in life. Meaning uh, that if you have not developed the people skills, the relationship skill, I still work on my people skills and relationship skill. It's not always easy because there's things that you want, your mate to do, and because you love them. And the thing is, and then sometimes people define success based. I think success is whatever you want it to be, whatever your spiritual practice is. That's up to you. Um, but we act like this is a religion, and I feel like the more that I looked at it this way is, every time I interview successful people, why are they successful? Because they're all always more open minded, right? I feel like the top entrepreneur from Aaron Carmichael, Gary Vee, or Bob Proctor, they're open minded. And that's why they're successful, because they can take idea in and then they execute on that idea. If you want to attract what you want, you have to execute on that idea. We can read quotes all the time and make it feel good, but that doesn't necessarily that we will change. See, we human don't like change for the fact that change is hard, right? and 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 sometimes we become frustrated that we don't manifest the way we wanted to. And why is that? Because we have not developed the inner awareness, the self-aware that we need to. Because the perception that people have is based upon the limited amount of knowledge that they have. If they come in here and they only focus on the attraction factor, the law of attraction, what happens is they only know that, and they never develop any other skills. One day they'll realize that they need other skills. Meaning, if you if we look up to Bob Proctor, right? If we look up to uh, John Assaraf, or what's his name, Jack Canfield, right? I have his book right here, Jack Canfield, right? And I noticed something that people don't want to realize. If you watch enough time in either Jack Canfield or Bob Proctor, or better yet, Think and Grow Rich, right? Andrew Carnegie have a library, and it was and that was the Think and Grow Rich was Andrew Carnegie uh principle. But Andrew Carnegie have a library, and then you hear all the successful people say something that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear, is that they read. Think about it. Bob Proctor, if you hear his seminar, The Science of Getting Rich, if you hear Jack Canfield in his seminar, if you hear a lot of Jim Rohn in his audio cassette or audio program, he talk about reading, why most people don't read. Why should you read? Why should you learn? It's because so you can get ahead. So you can have an edge in your life. It's much more it's much more harder to read and learn than just wishing for things to happen, isn't it? It's much harder to develop and acquire the skill that you need, whether as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as an artist. It's difficult, right? We understand this. Life is difficult. And and if you're if you wish for things to happen, and if you don't take the initiative responsibility for your life, and you blame the circumstances, you blame things, and 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 what happened is you're still doing the same thing as you did last year, or you did 10 years ago, because you have not given up your cherished belief, and that which is, if you want to become the artist in your life, the creator, then you must initialize, you must take the executed action based upon whether you feel like it or not. The most successful people say that if you want to, if that circumstances does not happen, then you figure a way to make it happen. And I come to realize when I try to, people believe that I manifested. Well, I write my goal down, of course, and it looked like manifestation. But what really happened is I take that idea, I I know that it's going to happen. All you have to accept the reality that you want to be in, and as you accept that reality, as you, it's not about act as if, is you already see that happen in your mind so often that you believe it, and then you take the initiative action based upon, I don't feel good when I take the action. Yeah, I know I'm ranting. Okay, well, I'm gonna get more into this, but here we go. All right. So I asked Aniko, right, for to share this where, because she tweeted out, and this she quoting what's his name? Okay, here we go. There we go. Sat Guru. Okay, so oh, and so I said this to her. I love this. Yes, I agree. We need this. Thank you for giving us the advice. Right? We need to take the spiritual responsibility, and the same as the law of attraction. If they want to get results, they need to make it happen. I appreciate that from you. So her, she quoted from Seher Guru, is humanity need to move from religion to personal spiritual responsibility. Shift focus from heaven to earth to improving self. I also, and she said, I also, she replied on Twitter, I must also remind myself sometime not enough to spiritually create what we want, but not enough to spiritually create what we want, but we must also confront the actual physical realization hands on. And Sid Haguru giving a good example. He's very active educating humans. So education, right? We don't, for some odd reason, when it comes to the law of attraction, it's the same thing as in school, right? I start to notice that it's as if we don't want to learn anymore. It's like I talked to this my and a property manager. He's my mentor, and he was talking about, it's as, it's as if like people, we were talking about, it's as if like college, right? People, when they go to college and if they graduate and if they finish college, but what happened is they're giving themselves the excuse not to learn anymore. What happens, their life to start to stagnate, right? Plateau, and then they fall hard, and they wonder why they're never getting ahead of life. We're trying to push, we're trying to do things with our limited perception, with the limited knowledge that you have or people have, right? And you wonder why you never get the result that you want, because you wasn't flexible in your thinking. You told yourself maybe it's okay not to learn anymore. Maybe you were so proud because you got a certificate or a degree and you stopped learning. I'm mad that we take this approach and we say we throw away all all the ideas that could help improve, man. And it's the late Earl Nightingale says the day that you graduate, it's a commitment. It means it's the beginning of your life. Whatever your spiritual path is, there's always personal growth and personal development. What does that mean? Meaning you must take responsibility for the results that you want. I don't care what it is, what you want. If you want that result, go get it. if you want that, and if you have anxiety like I used to have, right? I have tons inside of when I had, I was scared. I didn't know how to do an interview. I make mistakes. I still, I was talking to my property manager, my mentor, and he was like, "Yeah, I still have the fear." I'm, and he was right. I'm afraid of fear of failure. I was afraid of failing, and he was right. So if I still have this fear and I know the law of attraction, why can't we be, in this book, Jack Canfield, he talked about reading. Most people don't read. If you hear Jim Rohn, he'll say reading, and then you hear all the great people in the world say read, right? But we don't read because it's the hardest thing to do as a human being. You can read a blog, you can read something, but it's not. It doesn't make your brain grow. It doesn't. You don't learn anything. You don't seep into your mind. That's why people want the easy way. Look, whether you listen to audio, learn new skills set that acquire you to move out of your comfort zone. For one, people who are into law of attraction, they're way too comfortable knowing what they know. You can visualize. You can self-talk. You can turn that self-talk into a positive. But it's what you do with that self-talk that moves you into action. Nothing helps you if you just visualize and doesn't turn that mental idea, that picture that you have that you want into that reality that we see. Well, the chair that I have, because the reason why I haven't created a video yesterday is because I was moving the punching bag. And the punching bag, the TV, was once an idea until it become to form. And how did that? It's by the person having that idea, and they become an entrepreneur, and then they change that idea. Now, really, you don't have to be an entrepreneur, but you can change your life by having an entrepreneur mindset. Because an entrepreneur mindset will take an idea and execute that on idea, whether if it failed or whether it succeed or not. They're going to take the risk because they know the upside. But some make bad decisions. So because there's a cognitive function between the human brain and psychology is this. You have a confirmation bias, which it's your existing belief system. You will seek any information, any quotes, any knowledge that exists between your belief or your what you know. But when a new idea come and collide with that idea, you feel uncomfortable, which is called cognitive dissonance. Every idea that I have read have like contradiction in it, right? But I take what is useful. As Bruce Lee says, take what is useful, wait, absorb what is useful, uh, and what he said, what make it your describe what is useless and make it your own. Like we need to take these ideas and make it your own. All the idea that I have thrown you just right now is that it doesn't have to be um hard to do. It's like when you hear I come to the conclusion. What is the right thing? What is well? There's no right or wrong answer. It's up to you how to execute on that detail. You hear you should work hard, you should work smarter, you should hustle, you should work hard. What is the idea? Both. You need knowledge. You need to work hard. You need to put in hours and time. Think about it. If you see all the athlete, all the great people, all the top athlete, all the top entrepreneur, they put in the work. They didn't wish for things to happen. They know it's hard building. I know it's got to be hard to build like a freaking huge company. Imagine that. It takes lots of stress, a lot of anxiety, a fear, and we talk about the great things, and we have lots of thing that we wish to happen, and we don't make it happen. Like for instance, I make this video, and I upload it. That's taking action because it's my message to the world. So I will be reading. I know that was a rant, and that was a lot of rant, right? And whew. So I'm gonna be reading you the law of vibration and attraction. Okay, here we go. Chapter 6, 109. Okay, law of vibration and law of attraction. Here we go. Law of vibration account for difference between mind and matter, between the physical and the non-physical world. According to the law of vibration, we postulate that everything vibrates or moves, nothing sits idle. Everything is in constant motion, state of motion, and therefore there's no such thing as inertia or state of rest. From the most ethereal to the most gross form of matter, everything is in constant state of vibration. Moving from the lowest to the highest degree of vibration, we discover there are literally millions upon millions of interviewing levels or degree from electron to the universe. Everything is in um, uh, vibratory motion. Energy is manifested in all varying degrees of vibration. Rates of vibration are called frequencies, and the higher the frequency, the more potent the force. Since thoughts is one of the highest forms of vibration, it's very potent in nature. Therefore, it must be understood. Oh, 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 that's scary. By all of us. By all of us, yeah. Now, the law of vibration may be explained in many different ways depending on the purpose for which it's being explained. In this chapter, however, it's the intention to confine our inquiry to thoughts alone, so we may therefore improve our understanding of the law of attraction. To vibrate means to move backwards, forwards, to oscillate, to shake, to quiver, to uh, swing, to waver, to cause, to quiver. These individuals are positive in their thoughts, always tend to look upon the brighter side of life. With their face turned towards sunshine, they attempt to see good, even the bad. Such individual habitually thinks thoughts of positive nature, and they are blessing to the world. They are in positive vibration and therefore attract other positive personality to them. Negative personality, on their other hand, habitually look upon the dark, gloomy, depression side of life. Even the good holds some bad for them. They dwell on the bad and the negative. They think about it, anticipate it, expect it, invert it. They receive what they have been seeking. Due to the negative vibration which they keep themselves in, of course, attract other miserable personality to them. As you are already aware, misery love company. Um, The law of polarity and relativity states that for every positive there is an equal and opposite negative. Therefore, both of these personality types are necessary. You can develop the awareness to distinguish one from another. In that matter, choose the one which will advance in your life. You do have free will. You can choose which of these personality types you wish to adopt. Therefore, if a person is constantly negative, but tired of that state, the person may, thoroughly aware and proper effort, change himself into positive personality type of individual. The human brain, believe it or not, is one of the most efficient electrical instrument in this entire universe. The human brain, similarly, is probably the most efficient electrical instrument ever evolved. Both are truly marvel. Brain is the part of the brain where body where all matter frequency are transformed from one frequency level into another. The brain, for example, um, sensation are transformed into muscular action, sound, heat, light, thought, and thought are also each in their turn transformed into other frequency into affecting the body. Within the brain, there are sensory which control and regulate the function of the organs, part of the body, by means of proper stimulation of the sensory. The function of the organ may therefore be controlled in similar in our seminars. We refer to this phenomenon as vibratory control of the body. In final analysis, the brain is simply a vibratory instrument. To begin to understand its functioning, therefore, you must undertake the study of the law of vibration. Therefore, vibration is certainly not something which are new to us. Indeed, all of us have awareness of them. However, the problem which we encounter is that the vast majority of people are not aware of the connection between their vibration and the results in their life. Everything is energy, everything vibrates. Negative vibration which they are in, they're continually being bombarded all by matter of negative people and situation. For you to gain better awareness of how you are to take control of your results, to better understand how and why the thoughts and things come into your life as they do, you must go back into the basic premise with which we start, namely, everything vibrates, nothing's uh, stand still. There is, in truth, no such thing as inertia. Science today support this thesis, and every new scientific discovery tend to lead even more credible to it. A corollary of this basic law of life is that energy can be neither created nor destroyed, for since everything is in perpetual state of change or transmutation, being manifest in all degrees of vibration, it follows that nothing has beginning and nothing has an end. However, That is the Ouroboros. The Ouroboros is the eternal, right? And because I interviewed the best-selling author of the Complete Idiot Guide for Alchemy, and he's an expert on alchemy, and I come to realize energy is Ouroboros because it's by transmuting our energy and turning it to form. Nothing can be created nor destroyed. It has no end, no beginning. It's always eternal. So energy is basically eternal. It's all eternal. It's always coming back to form. It's always sending out energy and it's coming back to form. However, by virtue of your free will and the many other mental factors in your marvelous mind, you have the co-creative ability to cause the vibratory change to take place of your bidding. The cause for our lack of ability to exercise this tremendous power for good is nothing other than our own ignorance, but the law of vibration. And then he was talking about resonance and stuff like that. Here we go. I'm just trying to get to the good part. When you hold the image of your goal on the screen of your mind in the present tense, you're vibrating in harmony, in resonance with every particle of energy necessary for that manifestation of your image on the physical plane. By holding that image, those particles of energy are moving towards you, attraction, and you're moving towards them, because that's the law. You are the earth and the universe are all but the same degree in one scales and are in the basic nature the same. The difference between being solely a matter of degree or rate of vibration is frequency. All things are merely manifestations of energy or spirit. When the world comes to understand this great truth, will be aware that all people are the same. They only appear to be different. The true degree lines for mankind are not borders, color, or language, but simply ignorance and polar opposite understanding. You automatically like people who cause you to feel good. It would necessarily follow, therefore, that others will like you when you cause them to feel good or when you move positive vibration. And I'm trying to see. Attract what you need for your physical manifestation of your image. Here we go. It is true that energy or spirit is neither created nor destroyed. Everything in its original state is either energy or spirit. It is necessarily followed that everything you will ever want is already here. It's simply a matter of choosing the thoughts which will put you into a harmonious vibration with the good you desire. Everything you are seeking is seeking you in return. Therefore, everything you want is already yours. So you don't have to get anything. It's simply a matter of becoming more aware of what you already possess. The secret to receiving on the physical plane the results you desire is always locked into the law of attraction. This entire book has been designed to help you understand how to get into harmonious vibration with the good you desire and then how to stay in the positive vibration so you begin to attract whatever you need for your image of prosperity to move into form. Since you are a co-creator, you can choose your own programming. Therefore, the image you choose to hold on the screen of your conscious mind, you plant deeply in the treasure of your subconscious mind, is the pattern, plan, or nucleus which determine you will eventually grow into. It dictates the vibration you will be in, and also control what you attract to you and what you repel. This an orderly universe, nothing happened by accident. The image you plant into your mind's mind is instead of a attractive force govern your results in life. Wait, the heck? Which govern your results in life. You must remember though, if your image continually fluctuates, you will continue to be grown into something different. That's set in motion a most chaotic process. Fortunately, those individuals who are unaware of these very exact laws are planting the image of planning in their mind 1 minute and then image of probably the next. They're continuing switch vibrations, so they are attracting things, good things 1 minute and then the bad things the next. The truth is, the vast majority of people spend their entire life oscillating between these two extreme positions, oscillate, which the results effort that their life becomes disorder and chaos to the nth degree. So yeah, I highly recommend you read this book, and you probably know if you're just beginning. And last but not least, I will gear you for education because knowing there's a difference between knowing the law of attraction, the law of vibration, the law of mentalism. And there's a difference between applying the law of mentalism, which is the mental image, and using that mental image and turn that into a physical form or manifestation. Jack Canfield, in his news book, he revised it called the Success Principle, and he had um, principle that could help you guide you where you want to go. And I am solving this problem for one reason or another. It is this. I'm trying to learn. Learn more to earn more. 295. Here you go. 295. 295. Learn Principle 36. Learn more to earn more. If I'm through learning, I'm through. John Wooden. People who have more information have a tremendous advantage over people who don't. And though you may not think it takes years to acquire knowledge, you will need to become super successful. The truth is that simple behavior, just as reading for an hour a day, turning television time into learning time, attending classes and training program, can make it surprisingly easy to increase your knowledge and subsequently increase your level of success. Decrease your television time. The sad reality is that the average American watches television 6 hours a day. If you're one of those average folks, by the time you are 60 years old, you will waste 50 years of your life watching TV or television. There's one fourth of the other. Do you want to really spend? Do you really want to spend one fourth of your life watching other people, the one on TV, or working, getting rich, living off of you? Yes, living out of the dream while you're reaching out on the couch. In my very first meeting with my mentor, this is coming from Jack Canfield himself. So listen, W. Clement Stone, he asked me to eliminate 1 hour of television a day. He wanted to explain that cutting out just 1 hour of television a day create an extra 365 hours per year to accomplish whatever is most important to you. That over 9 additional 40-hour work weeks, 2 months of additional time. I asked him what he wanted me to do with that extra anything productive. He said, you can learn a new language, get super fit, spend quality time with your wife or children, learn to play a musical instrument, make more sales calls, or go back to school and get a good degree. But what I most recommend that you read for an hour a day. Read inspirational book autobiography of successful people. Read books on psychology, sales, finance, and health. Study the principle of success living, and that is what I did. See? So why we don't read? How come Jack Canfield told us to read and we won't do it? I read book on psychology. I read book on sales because I listen to great people. If Tony Robbins says that if you want to model success, successfully includes, why don't we model them instead of taking years to acquire something that can help us move ahead? Leaders are readers. Self-made millionaire John DeMartini made a list of all Nobel Prize winners. They made a list of great in those same field, whether it was poetry, science, religion, or philosophy. He then proceeded to read their works and biographies. Not surprisingly, John is also one of the brightest, wisest, and most financially successful people I have ever met. Reading pays off. The late Jim Rohn, you see Jim Rohn, right? The late Jim Rohn, one of the American most foremost motivational philosophers, suggests using that one extra hour day to read. He taught me that if you were to read one book a week in 10 years, you have read 520 books in 20 years, more than 1,000 books, and enough to easily put you in the top 1% of the expert in your field. Add to those the books from masters in related field area, you have an edge that others simply don't have. So people see that's a good reason why you should read, and do not put it. Oh, the one who get it are teachable. They are open to learning. The one who don't make it think they know everything already. Oh, wow! You cannot teach them anything. Wow. To learn and grow in life, you need to be teachable too. You need to let go of already know. You need to let go of already knowing all. You need to be right and looking good and open yourself to being a learner. Listen to those who have earned the right to speak, who have already done what you want to do. Yeah, that's just concluded. That just concluded, man. Like that's why people say like the answer is within, but then you see the list of successful people. Why they have the thing that you want to have or I want to have? It's because they have not closed their mind, but they know that they can adapt, learn, and observe. So that's pretty much my rant on the law of attraction. And I have read you the thing. If you want to achieve something, if you want to achieve a goal, if you want to do something great, it's whether learning sales, marketing, psychology, doing whatever, create health for yourself. But do something to create that in your life. If you don't have, which you do not, if you don't have the physical, tangible results, that means you're either taking things to chance and not putting in the work and not taking the time to understand that we have a bias within us. That means we have to let go of what we know to be true. Then, um, uh, um, I'm trying to think of something to be true and let new information in that could help us live a better life. That's my conclusion for the law of attraction, folks. If you want to attract the great things in life, work on you. As you work on you, so the attractive factor that will happen in your life. And everything will become a mirror between your inner world and your outer world. Because that is the basic truth of the law of attraction. Right? And so that's how I conclude. If you want something, do whatever, write your goals down, in details or present, whatever, as I am or stuff like that. But initially, you have to execute on that goal card, that goal in writing, that vision that you have. It's all vision. Your goals aren't there onto there to accumulate. It's there to make you grow in consciousness, awareness, and knowledge, and lead you to something greater of yourself that you never knew that you had. Subscribe to my channel, like my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.